Hey guys, welcome to Feature Junkie. My name's Ed and thank you guys for joining me today. If this is your first time here, well welcome. This is Feature Junkie where we talk all things movies, TV shows, streaming, all that great stuff. And today we're going to be talking about the new movie Devotion, directed by J.D. Dillard, starring Jonathan Majors, Glenn Powell, Christina Jackson, Joe Jonas, and Tom Sadusky. So right now, IMDb has this movie rated as a 6.5 out of 10, Rotten Tomatoes has this as a 76%, and Metacritic has this as a 66 out of 100. I've got a few things to say about this film, but before I do, if you could leave a like down below, I'd greatly appreciate that. Now let's get into the plot, courtesy of Metacritic. Devotion, an aerial war epic based on a best-selling book, tells the harrowing true story of two elite US Navy fighter pilots during the Korean War. Their heroic sacrifice would ultimately make them the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. So behind Black Panther Wakanda Forever, this film Devotion was my most anticipated film of November, and it would be easy to compare this film to Top Gun Maverick, which came out earlier this year, due to Glenn Powell's being in this film. Some of the filming technology that was used in this was made from the Top Gun Maverick film, and also it's a Navy aviator movie. But after watching this, and besides a small moment in the movie of Top Gun Maverick where Tom Cruise and Miles Teller at the end they're caught in enemy territory, besides that, I wouldn't say there's much of this film that is really to compare to Top Gun Maverick. I would say this film reminds me more of Midway, mixed with, and bear with me, Remember the Titans. Weirdly, there's this Gary and Julius Campbell relationship in this film where Jonathan Majors has to show Glenn Powell's how much harder it is for him to be a black pilot during this time, and in doing so it brings them closer. They start understanding each other and they trust one another. Jonathan Majors does a great job making the audience feel his pain throughout the entire film, what he does on a daily basis. Also goes without saying, he's just an incredible movie star. He's got Creed 3 coming up, and he got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania also coming up as well, so right around the corner. I think people are definitely really starting to see how much range Jonathan Majors has in his ability, and I can't wait to see what's going on with him moving forward as well. And Jesse Brown, who's a real life character of which Jonathan Majors plays, I think he's such a strong man and certainly a hero whose story I've never had the chance to learn, but I'm glad I did. Glenn Powell once again takes flight in this film, and look, the guy's great. I think he's phenomenal. He's done great in this movie and Top Gun Maverick, and I think there should be more opportunities for him lined up after this. So I'm excited to see what he does from here on out and to see where he goes from here. Now, the direction in this film and the cinematography I thought were beautiful. I love movies like this where it just transports you back in time to obviously a time where most of us weren't alive. So just seeing like the everyday lives of these characters, of what they went through, how much they drink, just random like food and stuff like that, how they lived in their living quarters on the ships and stuff like that. It's really cool for me to see. Now, one of my big gripes in this film was there wasn't much action to it, and I totally get that because it's based off a true story, which you can't just put action in there if there wasn't any action in the first place. So I get that, but the way the trailer made it seem, it really made it feel like there was much more of that in there. So I just want you guys to be aware that, besides maybe a few scenes, there really isn't much action. It's more of a dialogue movie through time. So for the film, I actually did enjoy it. I think the acting was great. I think the story for the most part was also there. I did find the pacing slow in a few areas, and unfortunately I don't think this is going to be like a box office hit, being that yesterday was opening night and really my wife and I were the only people in the theater. I also really don't see much buzz about it in social media at all, and I think this is a movie that I think people will benefit from seeing because of the lessons that it tells. It's not just a Navy aviator movie. It's talking about racism, and it's talking about everyday situations that we have to go through in life, and how do we cope and deal with loss in some areas. So I think in those aspects I would definitely give this movie a recommend, but I want to hear from you guys what you thought about this film. If you liked it, if you didn't, you have any reserves or reservations going into it, whatever those are, just leave those in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe, hit that notification icon down below so you know I'm going live or dropping new content. And I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here today on Feature Junkie.